Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. So today we're going deep, as the name suggests, into the world of horologerie.
Ooh, fancy.
I know, right? But seriously, though, you guys sent in some really fascinating material about Audemars
Oh,
Piguet,
really?
AP exactly, for their 150th anniversary. And I gotta say, this is some next level stuff. We're talking 5 unique editions of the code 11.59 Grande Sonnerie Carillon Supersonnerie.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It really is. And the name kind of gives you a hint of how complex and artistic these watches really are.
Yeah, for sure. When you see Grande Sonnerie, you might just think, oh, okay, bells and whistles.
Right, like just a chiming watch.
Exactly, but it's so much more than that. We're talking about a miniaturized grandfather clock, meticulously engineered to fit on your wrist.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying it's like a tiny grandfather clock on your wrist? That chimes
Uh-oh.
automatically.
That's the key difference here.
Yeah.
A Grande Sonnerie chimes the hours and quarters all on its own. You don't have to activate it like a minute repeater.
So it's constantly chiming, like a little orchestra on your wrist?
It's incredible. And that's what makes it so special. It's a constant, intricate ballet of mechanics happening right there on your wrist.
Okay, I'm starting to get why this is such a big deal. But what makes these AP watches even more special? I mean, we've got a Carillon and a Supersonnerie in the mix. What's the story there?
You're asking all the right questions. So a typical chiming watch has two gongs and hammers. The Carillon adds a third one,
Okay.
and that creates this richer, more melodic sound. So when the quarter-hour strikes, you get a three-note sequence instead of just a basic ding-dong.
So it's more like a melody than just a chime?
Exactly. It's a mini symphony on your wrist. Now, the Supersonnerie, that's where AP's real innovative spirit shines through.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So it's this patented technology they developed to enhance the sound of their chiming watches. Basically, they found a way to make that tiny mechanism sound louder, clearer, and with a way better tone.
How do they even do that?
Well, instead of attaching the gongs directly to the main plate, they use a soundboard like you'd find in a musical instrument.
So it's like they're giving the sound space to breathe, like a tiny concert hall inside the watch.
Precisely. They're maximizing those acoustics. And here's another mind-blowing detail. They actually record the unique sound of each watch.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so you're not just getting a watch, you're getting a sonic fingerprint.
Right.
It's a level of personalization and artistry that's almost unheard of.
That's amazing. And you sent over info on 5 versions of this watch. And visually, they are stunning. We've got 3 with sapphire dials, so you can actually see all the intricate workings of the movement.
Right, those sapphire dial models are a real treat for anyone who loves mechanical beauty.
I bet.
And they didn't skimp on the movements either.
Hmm.
Like, take the model with the platinum case and that silvery gray aesthetic.
Uh-huh.
The platinum isn't just for looks. You know, its density actually helps with the resonance of the sound.
Hmm.
So it adds to that whole symphony effect we were talking about.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. But the sapphire dial models are just the beginning, right? Then we've got the opal dials.
Ah, yes, the opals. These are truly something special. We're talking incredibly thin slices of natural opal used for the dial.
So each one is going to be unique.
Exactly, because of the way the stone forms. So you're literally wearing a piece of natural art on your wrist. There's one with harlequin opal, which has this vibrant mix of colors. And then there's one with polished crystal opal with these beautiful green and blue hues.
So whether you're fascinated by the mechanics or drawn to the beauty of natural opal, there's a version for everyone. But all of this, the chimes, the materials, the artistry, it's all powered by something pretty special, right? We got to talk about calibre 29566.
Absolutely. Calibre 2956, that's the heart of this whole symphony. It's the engine that makes it all sing. And we're talking about a hand-wound movement with 498 components, all finished by hand.
498 components, all by hand. That's insane.
It's mind-blowing. And because it's a Grande Sonnerie, it needs 2 winding barrels, one for
Oh.
timekeeping, one dedicated to that striking mechanism.
Oh, wow. So it's like having 2 separate power sources.
Exactly. One keeps the watch ticking, and the other one powers the symphony. And here's a cool detail. They actually included a setting to reduce the sound or even silence the chime completely.
So you can choose when to unleash the symphony.
That's right. You have options. You can conserve energy or just enjoy some peace and quiet when you need to.
That's awesome. But let's be real, this isn't your everyday watch. We're talking about unique pieces available only by request and with a price tag that reflects that exclusivity.
Absolutely. These watches are in a league of their own. And while the exact price isn't public, we're looking at an estimated value of over 700,000 Swiss francs.
So over 760,000 US dollars.
Yeah. But it's important to remember that this price tag isn't just about fancy materials or the brand name. It reflects the value of hand craftsmanship. The years of research and development that went into the supersonnerie technology, the artistry involved in creating each unique piece.
So you're saying it's not just a watch, it's a work of art.
Precisely. And a testament to Audemars Piguet's 150 years of horological excellence.
All right, so we've established that these watches are mechanically mind-blowing, visually stunning, and incredibly exclusive. But what really fascinates me is the story they tell, this blend of tradition and cutting-edge technology. Let's unpack that a little further.
I'm happy to dive into that.
Ah.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, these watches, they're rooted in like centuries-old watchmaking traditions, but they embrace innovation in a way that feels futuristic.
Right. It's like AP saying, hey, we respect our heritage, but we're not afraid to push boundaries and, explore what's possible. You mentioned earlier that this type of watch is often called a clock watch because of the automatic chiming. Help me understand that a little better. What's the distinction there?
Sure. So think about a traditional grandfather clock.
Hmm.
It chimes the hours and quarters on its own right. You don't have to do anything. That's what makes a Grande Sonnerie special. It's like they took that clock mechanism, miniaturized it, and engineered it to fit on your wrist.
So it's not just that it can chime, it will chime. Unless, of course, you use that silent mode you were talking about.
Exactly.
The more we talk about this, the more I realize just how complex these watches really are. It's like a whole other world.
Oh, it is.
Hmm.
And that silent mode that just shows how thoughtful the whole design is. You have options. You can adapt to different situations. You're in control. You choose when to share the beauty of those chimes and when to keep them private.
Okay, so I have to ask. Of the 5 versions, do you have a favorite?
Oh, man, that's like asking me to pick a favorite child.
I know, but come on, you got to have a soft spot for one of them.
Well, they're all remarkable in their own way.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I'd say I'm drawn to the models with the opal dials.
Yeah.
Yeah. The idea of wearing a slice of natural art with those unique patterns and colors, it's just so appealing to me. Each one's a one-of-a-kind masterpiece.
The opals are definitely showstoppers, but you know what really gets me? The fact that they used a soundboard like in a musical instrument, that attention to detail, that commitment to creating the best possible sound, it's mind-blowing.
It's not just about the sound itself. It's about the science behind it. The way sound travels, the way materials resonate, how even the tiniest adjustments can affect the tone and clarity. That's what sets AP apart. They're not just watchmakers, they're sound engineers. They're artists.
So they've taken the centuries-old tradition and infused it with modern technology and a deep understanding of acoustics. That's pretty remarkable.
And that fusion, that's what makes these watches so compelling. It's a testament to human ingenuity, to our ability to combine art and science to create something truly extraordinary.
When we first started talking about these watches, I was a little intimidated. Grande Sonnerie Carillon Supersonnerie, it all sounded so complex. But you've really broken it down for me. Now I'm starting to see why these watches are so sought after.
It's easy to get lost in all the technical stuff, but at the end of the day, these watches are about emotion. They're about the feeling you get when you hear that chime, the way it resonates with you, the connection to history and craftsmanship. It's something you experience, not just understand.
It's hitting me now that these watches are more than just timepieces. They're a legacy, something that can be passed down through generations. Each chime telling a story, carrying a piece of history, right there on the wrist.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it's true. These watches are meant to endure, to transcend time. They're a reminder that some things are worth preserving, worth cherishing. They represent a connection to something bigger than ourselves.
And maybe that's the ultimate message of AP's 150th anniversary. It's not just about looking back, it's about looking forward, carrying the torch of excellence into the future, inspiring future generations of watchmakers and enthusiasts.
It's a celebration of the past and a promise for the future. A future where artistry and innovation continue to intertwine, creating masterpieces that'll captivate generations to come.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired. We've talked about the sound, the looks, the mechanics, and how these pieces represent a fusion of art and science. But we haven't really talked about the price. I mean, over $760,000 US, that's a serious investment. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, the elephant in the room. We did mention that these are exclusive pieces available only by request, and that the price is estimated to be over $760,000. But there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's not just about materials or the brand name.
So it's more than just you get what you pay for.
Exactly. This is about the value of hand craftsmanship, the years of research and development that went into that supersonnerie technology, the artistry that goes into creating each unique piece. We're talking hundreds of hours of meticulous work, from the movement to the case to the finishing touches.
It's funny. When I first saw that price tag, I thought, who in the world could afford that? But now, after learning about everything that goes into these watches, I understand. It's not just about the money, it's about the value, the story, the sheer audacity of it all.
It's about appreciating the finer things in life, the things that take time and dedication to create. It's about recognizing the human spirit that drives innovation and pushes the boundaries of what's possible.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical stuff to the emotional impact of these incredible watches. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I have one more question for you. We've talked about Audemars Piguet's vision, their craftsmanship, their commitment to excellence. But what about your vision? If you could design a unique watch complication, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. It really gets the gears turning, so to speak. Let me think about that for a moment.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here. What kind of watch complication would you create?
Well, it's tough to come up with something totally new and unique with all the amazing complications out there already.
Yeah.
But I think I'd go for something that combines astronomical data with, the artistry of a chiming mechanism.
Ooh, that sounds pretty ambitious. Tell me more. What do you envision?
So imagine a watch that not only tells the time, but also tracks like celestial events,
Yeah.
the phases of the moon tides, maybe even the movement of certain constellations.
Okay, I'm following you.
And here's the twist. It would use a unique chime sequence to signal those events.
So instead of chiming just the hours and quarters, it would have special chimes for like a full moon or a high tide.
Exactly. It would be a way to connect with the rhythms of nature.
Hmm.
You know, feel a sense of wonder every time that watch chimes. You could even personalize it further. Choose specific astronomical events that are meaningful to you.
So like a chime that signals the anniversary of a meteor shower you saw, or maybe even a loved one's birthday based on the position of the stars on that day.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like having a mini observatory on your wrist, bringing a bit of the cosmos into everyday life.
I love it. You'd have people checking their watches not just for the time, but to see when the next celestial event is going to happen.
Right. It'd be amazing. And it kind of brings us back full circle to what we've been talking about today with Audemars Piguet and their Grande Sonnerie Carillon Supersonnerie.
It really does. It's incredible how these tiny, intricate machines can spark such big ideas and make you feel connected to something so much larger than yourself.
It's true. And it's been a real pleasure diving deep into these watches today, exploring the technical brilliance, the artistic expression, the sheer audacity of it all. They really are a testament to human ingenuity and a huge source of inspiration for anyone who loves watches.
We started this deep dive talking about symphonies on the wrist, and that analogy really holds up. They're like little orchestras. Each chime is like a carefully composed note, each component working together in this beautiful harmony. They're not just telling time, they're telling a story, reminding us of the beauty and complexity of the world.
And they leave us with this question. What's next? What will the next chapter of watchmaking innovation bring? What new symphonies will we see on the wrist?
That's a great question to think about. And who knows, maybe someone listening right now will be inspired to create that astronomical chiming watch you just described. The possibilities are endless.
I hope so, because that's where true innovation comes from. Curiosity, imagination, and pushing boundaries.
Well said. I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of Haute horlogerie. Hopefully you learned something new or inspired by the artistry and innovation we talked about, and maybe even started dreaming up your own horological masterpiece. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep listening for the symphony of time.